This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sarah and I gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and entertainment.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month you gain access to not one, but two entire podcasts. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where Ben and I decide we don't feel like actually playing something. So instead, we're going to watch something and talk over it. And $2, if $5 is too much money for you, and I understand shit's expensive these days, but you want some good content for very cheap, $2 a month gets you, that's hell you're walking into, a monthly podcast series where I don't know how it's going to go this month because all we've done is play Final Fantasy XIV, and so I don't know. My brain is in a completely different place because it's a series where Ben asked me questions about Fate Stay Night and the extended Nasu-verse, and I do my damnedest to answer them. But unfortunately, right now, I have Final Fantasy XIV brainworms, but I'm sure we will manage somehow.
There have been 2 events in FGO since I started playing.
I haven't touched either of them.
And I've looked at both of them and went, I'm actually good.
I feel really bad because I like the Valentine's Day event, but
I didn't get a free servant out of it, so I don't care.
Yeah, you never get free servant out of Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but I get a free servants out of some events.
Yeah, that's
and those
true.
are the ones I care about.
Yeah, but the point is that the podcast is good. Us talking about FGO, not so much sometimes. But the podcast where I answer questions for Ben is good because it gets a little crazy. Because the Nasu-verse is crazy. So if you think that sounds like fun, head on over to patreon.com/thegorge. Kick in however much you are comfortable with. Any dollar amount truly helps us out. And we appreciate every single one of you. So, yeah, thanks.
You can join the illustrious ranks of our fellow Discord goers. JT, Steel Condor, Nihar Bot, Red Lantern Reviews, Holy Star 64, Patrick Perez, Roddy 1/2, Saturn, Alice Marks, Shia, Magus, Jack, Liam Lane, and that other one dude.
Thank you all very much. We love you.
Thank you
and
so
on
much.
with the show.
Yeah. So it is the first episode of the month. And we're going to talk about what we've been doing. Sarah, have you done anything besides play FF14?
No. Like, normally I can even say that I have perhaps like watched an interesting YouTube. But no, I have not even watched an interesting YouTube video this month, these last few weeks, because I have exclusively played Final Fantasy XIV. We are now officially in the stage where it's a problem, and I understand that it's a problem.
Do you have... So I also played 14, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nearly done with Heaven's Word.
The first part of Heaven's Word before you hit the patch quests. Yes.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to talk about now regarding that? Because now we've gotten into content where things like happen.
Yeah, we can actually talk about content. I like Heaven's. I understand now. You know, the spiel has always been play Final Fantasy XIV with critically acclaimed expansion pack Heaven's Word. I understand the critically acclaimed part. I understand like why Heaven's Word was just like such a kick to the teeth for like everybody playing this game and everybody keeping an eye on this game, because we went from being just like fucking around and doing nothing to having really interesting plot hooks and kind of conversations about war and revenge.
And how cool revenge is.
And how cool revenge is, but also how revenge can be so corrosive too. How like hate over an extremely long period of time can be so corrosive. Mm-hmm. Because that is literally like, hey, Ben, the whole thing you're gonna see, but like Estinian and Nidhogg are literally existing on like the same wavelength, just from different perspectives. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot going on there.
The big war between the Elezen and the dragons is just that one like meme of like our glorious kingdom, their barbaric like empire.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's really good. I don't know. There's just a lot going on in it. I'm impressed that they managed to write a redemption arc for an entire country, because when you meet your first Dishguardians, and all of them but Horshaphon are basically just like, I can't stand any of you.
They're the haughty elves.
They're not just haughty elves. They're haughty, racist Catholic elves in a frozen hellhole.
So super Catholic.
They're
hilarious.
Extremely Catholic. It's incredible. I don't know if I've ever seen Catholic elves in anything else before. It's a hell of an aesthetic.
I don't think I've ever seen Catholicism this hard
in a JRPG.
Like, because usually it's like the religion, right? And it's like they might have a guy in a big fancy hat, but lots of religions have guys in big fancy hats.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
This is like such Catholicism.
It's so specifically Catholicism, like aggressively so.
Like Ishgard is the Vatican,
right? Yeah,
Like I'm sure, like if my mom saw me playing 14, she would recognize the streets.
Yeah, it's incredible because, like you said, JRPGs like to do like fancy religious aesthetic motifs a lot, but it's usually a grab bag of different fancy religious aesthetic motifs, like a generalized kind of like Western Christianity aesthetic, right?
Or like you think of like 10, you know,
right?
Like the whole thing with like summoners and whatnot is this weird blend of like vaguely Western, you know, Christianity, but also like Buddhism, you know, Eastern religion, like just blended together. Right,
yeah. It's never so aggressively just like, this is Catholicism. Yeah. That's all that's here.
That's a pope. That's just a pope.
That's a pope. There are bishops running around. It's really only one aesthetic. And I super fucks with it because it's really aggressive and I think it's amazing. And yeah, there's a lot going on in Heavensward. They finally started going like, oh yeah, we can have like visually evocative cutscenes and good writing and interesting characters with
they introduced Hildebrand, so they're like, now we can have good writing.
Oh my god, you and fucking Hildebrand. Hildebrand for me, mostly because like I am so eager to get back to the main quest at every turn that every time someone is like, Sarah, you gotta go Hildebrand, I'm like, this is such a chore. I want to go back to the part I'm interested in. Meanwhile, Ben is like, yeah, this is the main quest, Hildebrand.
He gets a fucking title sequence. He gets some of the best animations the game has to offer.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this is pulling teeth. This is my Final Fantasy XIV homework. My Final Fantasy XIV homework has been doing raids. Although I will say that when you are at the end of Heavensward, we are going to take a night to do Alexander. Like, even if it's just you and me, we're gonna do Alexander. Because you will fucks with Alexander extremely hard. And
I'm excited.
It's really fun. It also has some of the best music I've ever fucking heard in a JRPG.
That's the thing that keeps selling me on this game is how good some of the tracks are.
The music is so good and fun. And like I knew that the music in Final Fantasy XIV was good, but I didn't know until I got there.
Like I'm still like kind of in the thing, and also the problem is I can't really hear it all the time because we're always in a Discord call.
I know we're always talking. We never shut the fuck up.
But like, you know, it'll go from like your standard like environmental orchestral stuff into, I've said this before, but like fucking Leviathan is just the Sonic Adventure 2 track.
It's so track. Good. Yeah, no, and fucking all of like the Shiva track, which is just like girl butt rock, and I love it. It's so good.
Like Shiva is just like a early aughts punk rock song.
Yeah, it owns, and at every turn, the music, it's so good. I am enjoying essentially every single part of Final Fantasy XIV, except for the part where it takes my heart out of my chest and stabs it a couple hundred times, and then puts it back in, and is like, "There you go. Are you having fun?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not."
It's like A Realm Reborn is just what a TV show would say an MMO is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like A Realm Reborn is like, I would say 75% collecting wolf asses.
Yeah, it's collecting wolf asses and touching crystals. That's the entire plot of A Realm Reborn. And at the very end, some cool stuff happens, and it's like, oh god, where was this?
Like, it takes you, what, like 15 hours to meet, like, an actual, like, character?
Oh god.
That isn't just, like, a kind of vaguely cool, create a character that gives you quests.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It takes a really long time for you to meet anybody that you might have any kind of attachment to. Like the Scions themselves, God love them, the Scions themselves don't actually have a personality until the bad thing happens, which is very funny to me. Like, all of them are just nothing characters until Ul'dah happens. And they were like, oh yeah, we're going to use this trauma as an excuse to characterize these fucking people and make them interesting. Because you're going to be stuck with them for about 600 hours. So I guess we should make them interesting to be around.
Like, I was talking to Oates about this, like, the other day, because we were doing level ups. And she was helping me go through the mines. Just because, and it was like, because I was at the part where you have to lure the bombs into blowing up the slimes. And I was like, I was doing tank, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot how much this part actually sucks to do.
Yeah, there's so many shitty dungeons in A Realm Reborn too. That's the other thing. And
it's so weird, like, how comparatively different
the rest of the game is.
The rest of the game feels, but like, it's kind of unsettling to me that this isn't like, it wasn't released as like, this is Final Fantasy XIV 2. Like, it's still the same game.
It is the same. Yeah, to me, the funny thing is that as time goes on, the shitty part of Final Fantasy XIV will become a percentily, is that a word? By percentage, it will be less and less of the game. And I wouldn't be surprised if, as the game continues to, because like we said, I think we said in the last episode, they trimmed a lot of fat from A Realm Reborn, which is stunning to me, because again, as I've been saying, it is only fat. But I can just see them just continuing to trim the edges even more. I am sad. I did learn that there was one quest that got cut from the Sylph quest line, where it's Sylphs impersonating the Scions and making them sound like idiots.
Yeah, I saw that!
And I'm just like, how are you gonna cut that one? You didn't cut the really tasteless one of us carrying bodies in our backpack, but you cut the fun one where they make fun of Thancred? Put it back! Put that one back in!
That was good!
Cut more of the shitty bear ass collecting. So, but like, no, I thoroughly enjoy Final Fantasy XIV. Obviously, I've played it for 9 days at this point.
I am finally starting to see why people say this is like the greatest Square Enix has done. You know?
Yeah. And this is very funny to me because it's only Heavensward, and Heavensward is very good. And like, the funny thing, I'm in Stormblood. I'm a little bit further ahead of you, by about a week worth of progress. And people say that Stormblood is weak, and I'm having a fucking ball with Stormblood. Mind you, that's because I think one of the greatest characters in a Final Fantasy game exists initially in Stormblood. But, you know, maybe that's what it is, and the rest of it's just kind of nothing. There is one character in Stormblood who is extremely tedious, and I mean, you'll know it basically as soon as you get there. You'll be like, oh, okay.
Oh, it's this guy.
It's this girl.
Oh, okay.
What a shame, you'll say. And you would be right to do so, because I think everybody thinks that as well. But Heavensward itself kicks ass. The patch quests for Heavensward also kick ass. I want to do every single trial of the patch quests with you so I can relive them because they're good. And I'm trying to think of what else. Heavensward is a goddamn bloodbath. Can we talk about that for like just a second without going into too much detail? Because I don't know who's listening that I need to convince. Okay, like if you're not in our Discord and you're listening to this and you don't play Final Fantasy XIV, go play Final Fantasy XIV. I am now one of those evangelists. I am now one of those freaks who at every turn will be like, you should play critically acclaimed MMORPG, Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, now free up to level 60 and including critically acclaimed expansion pack Heavensward.
Just like if you have any interest in playing FF14 and you haven't started it yet, now that it's available, you can buy it again. Like, just going forward, maybe skip through some of our like wrap-up part of our episodes because we're going to dedicate a lot of time to 14 going forward.
Yeah, eventually, I think what we decided is that there's going to be a single episode for Shadowbringers. Well, a single episode. We'll see. Yeah. Depending on how much content there is to talk about in Shadowbringers.
We're going to dedicate at least 1 month to 14.
And we're going to get Shadowbringers and Endwalker out of the way that way.
Yeah.
But until we get to Shadowbringers and Endwalker, the wrap-up is how we are going to discuss our way through what's going on to 14 instead of basically turning into a Final Fantasy 14 podcast. Mm-hmm. Oops. It's the only way. So, you know. But the point is that Heavensward is a goddamn bloodbath, and it's misery at every turn for me. I was distraught for days. You know?
Yeah, no kidding.
I went to bed and just like laid there that night after you know who. Can we just talk about it? Can we just talk about it?
Say it.
After they kill off Horsefont, I literally laid in bed afterward and just stared at my ceiling and was like, I think this is the saddest I've ever been in a Final Fantasy game. I think this is it. I've had a lot of Final Fantasy games like hurt my feelings, and obviously I was a small child when Final Fantasy VII came out and actually managed to play Final Fantasy VII and still have the big death of FF7 affect me. And I was sad about that. I was still sadder about Horsefont. Actually, there is a single death that probably did fuck me up worse, and that's because they devote the entire end of the game toward it, but it's Zack in Crisis Core.
Yeah, that's up there too. There's no beating that one, really, if you think about it.
It's really hard to beat that one, but boy, that came awful close, and then they follow it up almost immediately with Hisael, who I also really liked. So, you know, I was going through it. I continue to go through it.
At least Hisael had death flags everywhere.
She did have death flags everywhere, it's true. They were warning you from the start, and I was still just devastated because I love her. Because she's my favorite kind of character archetype, which is cold, scary lady.
She's your favorite kind of girl boss?
My favorite kind of girl boss is cold, mean, scary lady who loves cute things. And loses her mind at Moogles. And at that part where you are in Moghome and she's just like obsessing over them. Meanwhile, Estinian is like a cat covered in static cling. Just like, I hate these fucking little creatures. It's possibly one of the best things I've ever seen in any video game. So Final Fantasy XIV continues to knock it out of the goddamn park with characters. That's the thing. Is that because we are playing like a persistent MMO? The thing about I've always thought like Final Fantasy games are not really heavy on like really interesting characterization. Like I like obviously I like characters in Final Fantasy a lot, but Final Fantasy games, you know, we say a lot that Tales games aren't really about the plots; they're about the characters.
Yeah, the focus on Final Fantasy is not always 100% on the characters.
Final Fantasy games are kind of more so plot than character.
Yeah,
And that's changed in recent years, I suppose, as video game writing in general has become more nuanced. Like, the primary interesting sticking point of the Final Fantasy VII Remake is that it gives these characters more depth, right?
Way more.
Way more, because, I mean, you play original FF7, and I still really like FF7, obviously. But there is not as much nuance there.
The original 7 characters are way more archetypes than they are, like, actual characters.
They're kind of sketches, and then you fill in the blanks yourself, which is fine. It was 1997, so, you know. But then,
that's not a bad thing to focus on your themes and plot and world building more than your characters.
Right. They're going for vibes in FF7. Yeah.
Like, it comes, you know, just like Tales, it comes to the detriment sometimes of Tales' overall plot when it focuses more on the characters.
Right. It's the other way around for Final Fantasy games. But the cool thing about 14 is that we are playing a persistent game that we will theoretically, by the end of Endwalker, have poured probably something in the realm of a couple hundred hours into. And it will have, for the most part, new characters are going to be introduced, obviously, but you will still have a set of characters who you will continue to interact with over the course of every single expansion pack. So you can have a lot of fun character writing and nuance for once, and I think that's part of why people really like 14, is because you can have these characters you really get to know, and then when you really get to know them and they axe one, it's like... Go fuck yourself. So I'm still sad about that. I'll probably die sad about that. I think everybody is still sad about Horsefant, frankly. Yeah. Including people who've been playing this game since it came out. So, at least I'm in good company.
Yeah. And then also Moonbrita, which even the writers are mad about.
Everybody is mad about Moonbrita. You, me, God, Natsuko Ishikawa, probably Yoshi P. Everybody's mad about Moonbrita. It's a crime against lesbians. It's a hate crime to me in particular. Urian J didn't deserve that because he's just a weird little man who he doesn't have a lot going for him because he is such a weird little man. So he didn't deserve to have his girlfriend ? Die in probably the cheapest way ever. Barely an hour after meeting her, essentially.
Yeah, like super quickly.
It's bullshit, especially because Moon is she's like a cool researcher. Do you know what her class is?
No, I don't.
She's a warrior. She's a tank.
She could have taken that then.
She could have tanked it. And it's just bullshit that she didn't. But it's fine. The guy who wrote that is now in the job quest mines forever. We never have to see him again anywhere that matters. Even then, the good writer is also occasionally writing job quests as well. Thank you, Natsuko Ishikawa. Dark Knight kicked ass. It continues to kick ass. So
yeah, I think that is hilarious. The funniest part, though, is we're mad that you killed this character. To the job quest mines with you.
Away with you. So
it's like, what was it that like people who didn't meet deadlines when doing Prince of Egypt were banished to Shrek at DreamWorks?
Yeah. Except unlike, Shrek, which was good, killing Moonbrita was bad, actually. It was quite bad. That was a misstep on your part, my friend. It's like being sent to the Forza mines at Microsoft.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no,
I mean...
I'm loving 14, obviously. It's just become my daily thing now at the detriment of, like, anything else I should be doing.
I know, but I can't pull myself away. It's a huge problem, actually. And I don't want to pull myself away. I like it a lot.
Stuff is coming out.
I know. We will eventually. But yeah. What else? But to get out of my system before we move on to news. Not much. It's just good. It's just good. There's a lot of little things I could talk about. I could talk about how, like, basically after you haven't noticed it yet because the only other dungeon you've really done since now is the vault. But kind of really before the vault, but the vault is where it really starts, is where they realize, like, oh hey, gimmicky dungeons suck ass. Here's a hallway packed to the tits with monsters. Have fun.
All you really want is just to walk around a cool environment and get in fights. You don't want to actually like do a puzzle.
I don't want to think. Yeah,
you're with Johnny First Timer and Billy 50th Timer.
Yeah,
and neither of them care about the mechanics.
Neither of them. Only one of you knows what's going on. It's not you. It's the guy who's been playing for 500 hours.
And he just needs to get his level up, so he's going to rush ahead and do it for you.
Yeah, God help you if you're the tank and you're just trying to figure this out. I was doing leveling roulettes as a tank, and it threw me into Tamtara Deepcroft. Or no, it was Tamtara. It was one of the underground dungeons. I think it was Tamtara. But the point is that I got lost, and because I get lost, and also because the dungeons, especially the early dungeons, all look the goddamn same. Mm-hmm. Like the design is extremely easy to get turned around it. So I got turned around, and I was just like, these people probably think I am a moron. I got the comm anyway, so thank you all for your patience if you're out there. If you ran into a Dark Knight who seemed extremely lost wherever she was going, that was me. I have a very bad sense of direction in Final Fantasy XIV, so I'm very glad that dungeons are now like, just run forward. Just run forward and don't think about it. I'm like, yay, that's all I need to do.
Like, if this were a single-player RPG, I'd be mad if all the dungeons were like this.
Sure, but it's not.
It's a multiplayer one, so no, I just want a hallway.
Thank you, perfect. So, but that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got to say. I'm sure once you're officially done with Heaven's Word, there will be more. So please look forward to the end of the month roundup where we will have even more to say.
I did some stuff besides 14.
Oh, okay.
I started Nier Replicant.
Okay.
I'm glad that plays almost exactly like Nier Automata.
Yay!
I don't think it did initially, so I'm glad they fixed it. Boy, that game came out in 2010.
Yeah.
There are some things that we have gotten used to in 2022 that don't exist in Replicant.
Like what?
Like a good map, like autosave.
Oh no!
Like good quest markers.
Ooh, they just updated the graphics and maybe fixed the combat a little bit.
Just some little quirks that kind of became the norm as time went on. Don't exist. So it's like I'll start up and I'm like, wait, where the hell was I going again? What was I supposed to be doing?
Oops.
And there's no like journal to check.
There should be a journal. I thought there is.
Well, there's a journal, but it's like a journal.
Oh,
it keeps track of your. There's no like main quest. Here's what you were doing.
Oh no!
You have to wander around. You have to wander around maps until you find the map with the red X, which is where you're supposed to be going.
Oh, okay, that's great.
But no, I really like it so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting because the aesthetic is so similar yet so different from Automata.
Mm-hmm.
Like Automata is, very machine-based robot.
Mm-hmm.
Your HUD is 2B's eyes, right? Like,
right.
So you have like, diagrams and little UI stuff all over your screen. Whereas Replicant is very much more fantasy magic based.
Yeah, it's more organic.
But like the character designs and the set design and the music, oh my god, the music.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Yeah, of course. It's the same composer as Automata. Yeah.
You're walking around a big field, then you hear someone chanting in vaguely Latin, like slowly singing in a low voice, and you're just like, oh yes.
Oh right, that's right. I really like Nier Automata. This is what I want. I really like the music in that game, and it's the same composer, Okabe, I think.
But so far, very good. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. I gotta squeeze more time into it. Obviously, we got stuff to do.
We'll get there. We'll climb that mountain.
But yeah, it's got you know, brilliant vibes, like, and just fun to play.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm eager to play more. I also got back to playing Travis Strikes Again.
Oh my god!
I had a day where, like, I wasn't feeling 14, I wasn't feeling Nier,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, what else do I have to play? And I booted up Travis Strikes Again.
Okay.
And, so the way I'll put it is that if Nier Replicant is a discussion about humanity and violence and the worth of one life against others,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, what does it mean to truly exist? What is your worth in society, etc., etc. Travis Strikes Again is that exact same conversation, but at 4 a.m. on someone's back patio while a My Chemical Romance album is playing, and 5 minutes ago you were talking about Marvel movies.
Yeah, it's one of those conversations.
You are like 3 rum and cokes deep out of a red solo cup.
Yeah, okay.
It's the exact same
It's
stuff.
the exact same shit, but with a completely different context.
It's just dressed up in band t-shirts and indie games.
And it's way smellier. It's the hot couch guy of
Yeah. It's literally having that conversation with Johnny Knoxville.
Right. Okay.
But it's great. It's the vibes in this game are also immaculate for completely different reasons. Playing them back to back is a thrill. I recommend anyone who has a Switch and a PS5 to do that,
or a PS4.
And like, not even remotely joking. Play Travis Strikes Again and Nier Replicant back to back
at the same time. See what that does to your brain.
It is a huge fucking trip.
Oh, good. Okay.
No more heroes being weirdly, like, philosophical about the cycle of violence in ways that go completely over your head until you actually stop to think about it is incredible. And I can't wait to get to more of it in No More Heroes 3. like just the idea of, like, because No More Heroes 2 presented it, and Travis Strikes Again follows up on it, which is the idea of people who were like, what do you mean Travis walked away?
Right.
Like, you can't carve through this many people, get what you want, and then leave. It doesn't work that way.
You don't get to kill that many people and have things be okay for you.
Like, No More Heroes 2 is all, like, there's several assassins that are, like, call Travis, like, he's the no more hero, he's the crownless king. He is the guy who managed to get to the top and then just left.
Right.
Like, he didn't get killed for it, he just walked away. And he came back to it. Like, he wasn't chased down for it, he walked back into it.
Right, he came back to it willfully.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Travis Strikes Again is about the same thing, where it's like, there's a bit which fucking blew my mind when I read it, which is because the whole premise of Travis Strikes Again is a bad man who is Bad Girl's dad from No More Heroes 1, rank 2, yeah, she's rank 2 in No More Heroes 1, comes back to kill Travis for revenge, right?
Right.
He finds Travis in a trailer in the woods playing video games. And you find out the reason why he's in the woods in a trailer, because he says something like, yeah, it's kind of a dick move to leave behind a wife and kid and go live by yourself in the woods, but I had to get away.
Right.
It's like, oh, wait, what?
Okay, then.
What?
Okay, buddy.
It's like, oh yeah, Travis married Sylvia and knocked her up. He's got a kid.
Oh God! What if your protagonist was just like the most irredeemable piece of shit on the planet? Truly the most vile of men.
It's great. It's amazing.
Oh God.
Holy shit, I love it. I'm so excited to get to No More Heroes 3. I'm so excited because, like, from what I know of No More Heroes 3 is that Henry becomes the most pathetic character ever.
Mm-hmm.
And he started off, it's like, what if Virgil just got lamer as the games progressed? Like, what if DMC5 Virgil was just super lame?
What if he just wasn't cool at all? Yeah.
What if like Virgil came back and he was just like remake Virgil?
No! Hell on earth!
The biggest, whiniest piece of shit ever.
Yeah, I've seen his fucking No More Heroes 3 design. It's like, you okay, bro?
It looks awful. All I know from hearing the Gigaboots guys talk about it is that Henry straight up just says that his favorite Marvel movie is Thor 2.
Oh. Also, love that Suda51 is just like, yep, we're just gonna talk about Marvel movies now.
Of course.
In my fucking video. Like, okay, buddy. Okay, Suda. You okay, buddy?
What else would Travis want to talk about, though?
That's, you know what? That's actually a very good point. He would be that kind of guy. Yeah. Of course he would. Of course he would.
Travis so easily threads the needle between being the biggest loser and the coolest guy ever. And then Henry just started off as the coolest guy and tripped over himself so hard he fell completely through the floor.
Just a huge fucking good. Great. I am looking forward to the No More Heroes 3 report then.
Yeah, I am too. I'm very excited to play it. The only other thing I did before we can get to news is on Saturday, this recent Saturday, I played Twilight Imperium. It took us 11 hours.
Oh god, what is that?
Twilight Imperium is a board game. My friends are board game guys.
Oh, okay.
Which makes me a board game guy by association.
Congratulations.
When you turn 30, you have to cross class into something, and my friends pick board games.
Sure, of course.
Twilight Imperium it's your standard space strategy, competitive exploration. You're conquering planets. You're putting down troops. It's risk in space.
Mm-hmm.
But way less focused on the actual like conflict, like combat stuff, and way more on the border conflict and political aspect of it.
Okay.
Like, it's not so much you want to amass a giant army to make yourself big and strong and eat the other planets.
Mm-hmm.
You want to build up your planets and your colonies so that you get more votes during the voting round.
Oh, okay. Ooh, that's fun.
It has like a popularity worth, and that adds up so that after everyone like goes around and does all their actions, they fly their ships, they spread out, they build ships, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, they play actions, they upgrade, all that stuff. When everyone's exhausted their actions, you do a voting round.
Right.
Which is someone draws a card, they read off like, are you for or against this thing? And it's like, are you for this? It means that if you're for it, you are putting a travel ban on the black holes, so no one can travel through the warp gates anymore.
Okay.
So you have to, wherever you have to go, you have to fly there manually.
Ooh, fun. Okay, I get it. Yeah, it's very like politics.
Yeah, and it's like, if you're against this, then what was it? I think it was like if you vote against this and it still passes, then like your ships take a hit. Like, you have to give up some of your ships.
Okay.
So it's like, well, if you don't want anyone to use the warp gates because like maybe you're in a shitty area and you don't get to use it, or like it doesn't matter to you anyway, and you want to sabotage everyone else.
Right.
If you don't have the votes to like the colonies to turn the tide, like you have to start making deals with everyone else at the table.
Yeah.
Like, hey, help me out with this, and I'll give you this. I'll do this for you, and it gets very political. It's super crazy, super fun.
Well, I see now. It took 11 hours. Yeah.
It's a very, very slow game. It's a very complicated and very busy game, but it was a ton of fun because I managed to. So one of us played a alien race that couldn't vote. So
Okay.
it was down to three. It was down to 3 people who had the power to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And I managed to pass a law that abolished the electoral college. One vote, one person, one vote.
What? Awesome. Okay.
So,
You did it, Ben. You did electoral reform.
so that turned every single voting thing into an alliance battle.
Into just a fucking nightmare,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
But no, it was a ton of fun. I'm very excited to play it again. It took us 11 hours, but the normal runtime is usually 6 to 8 because you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's still an all-day game. But,
of course, it's risk. Yeah, I mean that's just risk.
Next time we play it, we won't be completely drained by the end of it.
Yeah, you won't have to consult the rule book for every single thing because you'll actually know what you're doing.
But it was still a ton of fun. The problem is all of my friends are either teachers or nurses.
Mm-hmm.
And I am neither of those things. So they're smart, and I'm not.
Well, obviously, you're not that not smart because you managed to abolish the Electoral College and turn everything into a fucking nightmare, which is what I would do. That's how you sabotage your smart friends in a smart video game or a smart game, is by making things really, really hard even on them.
I did manage because there was one vote we had. I can't remember what it was about, but one of my friends pleaded his case. He's like, we'll do this. I'll give you this. And I was like, my turn to plead your case. If you vote yes, it'll be funny.
Yeah,
He was yeah, you're right. It will be funny.
You will ruin somebody's day, and isn't that really what you want?
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Again, most of my time has been 14.
Whoops.
Obviously. But yeah, let's do some news. There's a couple things that happened.
There's some big things and some little things, and we'll get to it.
We'll go down the list I have here. Number 1, Elden Ring has multiple poison swamps because, quote, I can't help myself, Miyazaki says. I'm just picturing Miyazaki fucking doing the SNL Blue Oyster Cult Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
I've got a disease and the only cure is more poison swamp.
Yeah. I love this story. It is the funniest story that's come out of this most recent news cycle because I just love the idea that he does it on accident.
Here's the full quote. While making this game, I rediscovered my love for making poison swamps, he told Game Informer. I know how people feel about them, but I suddenly realized I'm in the middle of making one and I can't help myself. It just happens.
Yeah. He'll be discussing, okay, we're gonna do a castle level, but Miyazaki-san, how do we make the castle level more interesting? And Miyazaki-san will sit there and he'll be like, well, what if it was kinda underwater and a little bit damp and there were some big bugs? And everyone's like, okay, yeah.
That sounds good. What if to make the area more strategic to navigate through, what if there were patches that would inflict a status ailment on you?
Everybody in FromSoft is he's still talking. Everybody at FromSoft is starting to look at each other. Wait on a sec. He's like, yeah, and what if there were because it's so damp, what if there were big mushrooms and trees and stuff like that? And it's Miyazaki-san, isn't that just another poison swamp? God damn it! I did it again.
He's no, this one is different. This is a bog.
It's a poison bog instead. Miyazaki-san, that is the same thing as a poison swamp. and then they have to go start all over again. I love this. I love that he does it compulsively. What an incredible picture into a man's mind, right?
I'm just picturing, he's just like, oh, one more, I'll treat myself, as he designs yet another poison swamp.
That Tom Hanks gif where he's like about to write an email and he blows his fingers off, and he's like, oh, just presses the button that says make poison swamp. It's incredible to me. Yeah. I love this man. I think that is such an extremely funny thing wrong with his brain. And
the game is big enough that he can have more than one in a single game. He must be so happy.
He must be so happy that he can have as many poison swamps as his little deranged heart desires.
Look forward to the Poison Swamp DLC 12 months after launch.
It's not just one poison swamp, it'll add 5. The worst selling piece of DLC in history. Why would we inflict this on ourselves?
Next, first proper trailer for Halo TV series drops.
Oh God, did you watch it?
I watched it a little bit.
It looks really cheap.
It
like the Cowboy Bebop Netflix show. Something about it just looks so cheap. Maybe it's because it's on Paramount Plus and they don't have any money.
Yeah, like the problem with like we're gonna turn this game into a TV series is that the time to do that was the PS3, PS4 era.
Right.
Like now we're getting to the point where games look like movies and you need a movie budget to make a movie out of it.
Yeah, you can't just make you have to make it look like the CG has to look really good. Instead of just like, it looks really bad. Like the actual, and for another thing, Cortana just looks like dog shit. Of course.
Oh my God, right?
Of course they are so like, oh, we can't make it like a video game, even though it's a fucking, based off of a video game. Well, we can't make it like a video game. She can't be blue. That's stupid. And it's like, no, guys, you don't understand. Okay. So yeah, it looks very bad. It looks extremely cheap and very lazy. And it boggles the mind that it took us this long to get a Halo TV series. And it looks this cheap and bad. We've wanted a Halo, to some degree. Even when I was a big Halo fan for a long time, and then of course after 3, I was like, I got what I needed out of. Well, after Reach, I was like, okay, I got what I needed out of Halo, and I'm good now. But even I was like, well, there's enough kind of narrative density in Halo, and there's so many fucking novels that are pretty good. Like there's a handful of pretty good Halo novels. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. There's plenty to adapt from novelizations, or there's just like a lot kind of going on in the Halo universe that it was like I could abide to buy a TV show. I could. But like, boy, to wait this long for a Halo TV show and it look like that is just so wretched. All this time and this is what we get,
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, okay.
And yet, like you mentioned, like the novels and stuff, like you don't need to make it prestige television adaptation, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to expand the lore, you have comics, you have books, you have like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is way better and easier to produce, and you can produce more of it.
Yeah.
Instead of doing a TV show.
But it has to be a prestige television show because every single godforsaken streaming service is looking for their version of Stranger Things or whatever, they're all after a Game of Thrones of their own. And so fucking Paramount Plus, the poorest of poor man's streaming services, is like, yeah, we're gonna front the bill for Halo. And boy, it shows.
Boy, it doesn't look like it. The time to do Halo was 10 years ago.
Yeah, sorry, that is past. I know you're trying to sell Halo Infinite, but like, sorry.
Next, Evil Dead the game delayed to May 13th. I forgot they were making this.
I forgot they were making this too. Oops.
Delays happen, I guess.
Yeah, maybe that will give you more time to make people aware that your video game exists.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Bruce Campbell stopped doing live action Ash because he's old, so now the only way we're gonna get Ash is in games and stuff.
That's fair, you know.
Fair. He is old.
He is old. I'm not gonna ask Bruce Campbell to keep running around and acting like Ash Williams when he's like a grandpa.
He did an interview because they did Ash vs. Evil Dead like the show.
And
like he was talking to like, yeah, I just can't, like, I'll do a jump off something and my back will hurt the entire day. Like, I can't do it anymore. I gotta hang up the chainsaw.
Sorry, but maybe the video game isn't the video game though. Isn't it like a Dead by Daylight?
It's a Dead by Daylight / Left 4 Dead because it's a 4-man squad against like birds.
Okay, so it's more Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, so it looks like it'll be like a fun, get co-op quick, do a quick couple rounds and then put it aside for a while. But I don't know, it could be interesting.
It could be good. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just they need to make people more aware of it. Yeah. Because I forgot it existed. Oops.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is planned to reveal this year, producer confirms.
They have to, because it's the anniversary. Please, Square Enix, I'm wilting.
It is the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII this year. It's also the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts, which is weird to think about, that the gap between those is only 5 years.
Yeah, it's very strange to me. I always imagine that the gap between 7 and Kingdom Hearts is much bigger, because obviously there's such a massive leap in graphical fidelity, but like not really. I mean, the leap is there obviously, but the 5 years is a long time in video games too. Like a lot can change in 5 years visually speaking.
It's straight up is a console generation.
Yeah, that's a whole gen, and by then Kingdom Hearts was an early PS2. Like the first Kingdom Hearts was an early PS2 game. So,
it's just the disparity, like, it's the difference between, like, 5 years when you're, like, when Kingdom Hearts came out, FF7 was 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like a much bigger gap than when nowadays, Final Fantasy VII is 25 years old, and Kingdom Hearts is 20 years old.
Yeah.
Like, the difference between a newborn and a 5-year-old
it's huge.
Way higher from a 20 to 25-year-old. And I don't like thinking about that. I don't like thinking about how the PS2 is 20 years old.
I don't like thinking that Final Fantasy VII is 25 years old, because that says a lot about me and how old I am. And I'm not a fan of that. I'm old. I'm ancient. I am like the dust upon the earth.
But this article is also talking about Naoki Hamaguchi was the co-director for Remake Part 1. They'll be taking full directing duties.
Mm-hmm.
Tetsuya Nomura is taking on a more broad creative director position.
Okay, for Remake 2?
Yeah. I'm assuming because he's going to be working on Kingdom Hearts stuff again.
Yeah, exactly.
And the last time they tried to get him to take the lead on 2 projects at once, it didn't work out well because both of them got delayed for several years.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, I personally, obviously, like, I would prefer the Final Fantasy VII to be the game that Nomura works on, because I'm a Final Fantasy VII fan, not a Kingdom Hearts fan. But it's okay. I'm sure, I mean, as long as he's still producing in some capacity, I'm sure it'll be fine.
And also, FF7 has always been more of a committee, like a group project, Yeah,
that's true. Nomura wasn't, like, there was other writers, too.
Yeah, he was not a big writing part of Original 7.
Right.
He was a character designer.
He was the character designer, and he didn't direct, no, he didn't.
No, he did not.
Yeah. Okay.
And Kingdom Hearts is very specifically Nomura's project.
Right, like that's his baby. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it makes sense that he would take over I'm assuming he's working on Kingdom Hearts stuff. It's nothing in this article says it, but that's what I'm assuming is happening, is he learned from his mistakes last time.
Yeah, so that he can actually have his games come out. Yeah.
Also, stuff that got weirdly announced is they're still working on Ever Crisis.
Please come out someday.
It's gonna have a specific tie-in with First Soldier, where like characters that appear in First Soldier will be retroactively added to Ever Crisis.
Okay, First Soldier. I see stuff of First Soldier, and all I can think is like, I would give this a shot if it wasn't on phones.
Me too.
Like, is it so hard to understand? I don't want to play a battle royale anything on my phone. FGO is lucky that I'm willing to tolerate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, normally I would not play anything on my phone. I am not a phone game person. But like, you know, it's because it's FGO and it's a visual novel. It's a little bit more digestible. I'm not gonna play a fucking shooting anything.
No. If I have to aim on a phone, no, absolutely not.
No, you're insane. It's not happening. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you, but it's never gonna happen.
What else in here? Nomura did draw an absolutely stellar 25th anniversary logo for FF7.
It's a fucking banger. It's so good.
Holy, that looks incredible.
I'm starving, Nomura-san. Please, Square Enix, I need a trailer this year, or I will Final Fantasy. Thank God, frankly, thank God I got into 14, because otherwise I would be dying.
Yeah,
my entire body would be reduced to a husk at this point. But fortunately, I have Final Fantasy 14 to keep me occupied. It sure is a fucking thing to have so much of my life, the first of the year, be occupied by Square Enix again. It really is like I'm a teenager all over again.
And just you wait until March when
Game of the Year comes out, you mean?
When Game of the Decade comes out.
When the GOTY finally releases, I can't wait.
God, I'm so excited. Oh, also,
I'm so excited.
The Kingdom Hearts official Twitter posted a cool image of Sora recreating the remake Cloud pose.
Oh, good.
Of him with the Keyblade over his shoulder in front of Scala Ed Kaim instead of Midgar.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very cool.
That is cool.
So yeah, 25 years of Final Fantasy, and Remake 2 finally getting some stuff this year.
I sure hope so, because please, where's Final Fantasy 16? Listen, Square Enix, you did it. You won me back over. I'm playing your stupid fucking MMO. I'm excited for Final Fantasy 16. You didn't fuck up the remake as far as I'm concerned. That means you have to keep putting out games, though, and you have to tell me where your video games are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm dying.
Don't worry, GOTY soon, and then that will make everything better.
GOTY will fix everything. Stranger Paradise is going to make everything better.
Blow my fucking mind.
It's going to be the best game ever made. I'm sorry.
The goddamn trailer with fucking My Way.
It's the theme of the game, Ben. Didn't you hear?
Jack has his fucking iPod at his wedding.
I hate him. I hate him so much, and I'm going to be obsessed with him because he's such a fucking, like, what a fucking weirdo. And I'm ecstatic.
I cannot wait. What I can't wait for is to hit the Final Fantasy 1 credits a quarter of the way through the game.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And then also the whole, like, did you see that, like, the dungeons are like the different areas are they're still named for Final Fantasy 1 dungeons, but they're modeled after all the different dungeons of, like, different Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, that's so fucking cool.
It's so fucking cool. Like, one of them is clearly just a reactor. One of them is just obviously the Tomb of Wraithwall from 12, and like, that kicks so much ass. ass.
Are you kidding me?
That kicks so much ass. Like, I am incredibly enthusiastic about this game.
If you're not excited for Stranger of Paradise, you're a fool.
You're just dead inside. I'm sorry. Like, you don't understand.
If you don't get hype for My Way being the theme of the game.
Of a Final Fantasy game?
I don't know what you expect out of Final... Like, I don't know what makes you happy.
What makes you happy? I need you to come to the Discord and tell me, because I don't understand you as a person.
It blows my mind that someone can look at that and go, no, that's lame.
Wrong. You've never been more wrong, in fact.
He is the coolest.
I'm so ready.
Next, here's probably the biggest article of the week. Bungie joins Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Oh, God. Here we go. And, of course, fucking Jim Ryan is on Twitter being like it's a hype cycle. Like, please be excited for Sony to buy more studios. And I'm like, oh, God, fuck, here we go.
We were joking about what is Sony gonna buy in the wake of Microsoft's big Activision purchase.
And I know I'm not like a child. I know that this has been in the works for a while. This probably happened specifically not as a response to Activision, but as a response or a strategic realigning because of Bethesda getting bought. Mm-hmm. Instead of the Activision buyout. But it just shows like where things are heading, you know?
Yeah,
we're kind of hurtling toward like additional consolidation of studios.
It's just a sign that this is going to keep happening.
And I'm just dreading it. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse until, I mean, like, thank God for the indie scene, because otherwise this would be more wretched. I don't play Destiny. I know Saturn does. But like, it still just sucks. You know, it just sucks. It's
There's never been, like, thinking about it, has there ever been a buyout like this that has benefited us, like, as consumers?
Yeah.
Like, when was the last time, like, I mean, maybe Insomniac? I don't know.
But,
I think Insomniac could have still made games like Spider-Man and Ratchet and Rift Apart, like, without Sony bucks.
At that point, though, that's kind of different, because at that point, well, for one, money, like the spending on studios is getting a little absurd because, Sony bought Insomniac for $300 million, and they bought Bungie for 2-point-something billion.
Obviously it won't list, because this is actually the article I got is from Bungie's site, so they won't list the price. Let me look up Sony deal.
It's billions with a B.
3.6 billion.
Wow. Yeah. Like, this is just, it just seems untenable to keep dropping this much on studios. I don't know. I'm not a fan. Like, to buy Insomniac is one thing, because at that point they were basically already, like, they were already a Sony studio in all but name.
They were mostly second party, except for Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, which barely counts, So this is different. This is them, like, literally buying out
this is
like
them,
a really big independent dev,
This is them locking Microsoft out of future Bungie material.
I mean, obviously, it's like what we were saying with the Activision deal. Right now, Sony is saying they are going to honor contracts and still put Bungie games on Microsoft and stuff.
Yeah, but remember when Microsoft said that about Bethesda and Obsidian?
I know. And, obviously things are prone to change, but at the same, I could still see it happening, if only because part of this strategy is to just get each other's money. right? Like, this is just them passing money back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft will have to pay them for Bungie, for Bungie stuff. I don't know. It's just, I don't like it. Obviously, I think it is quite bad, but I don't. It is different from Insomniac as well,
It is, but like I still can't think of anything where this happens and like it has shown a significant benefit to the customer base.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably exclusively bad. Yeah,
it's because it's for the most part it's usually big studio buys smaller studio and then guts them and sends them to the mines.
I know that I saw an article that Sony has set up a $1 billion. It's called it's called an employee retention fund. So it sounds like Sony is going to try and keep all of Bungie on board. Because again, there's another article that came out a few days later after the Bungie announcement that Sony is looking into doing more games as a service, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's obvious that they bought Bungie because Bungie is very good at games as a service. So there's a high chance that everybody at Bungie, at the very least, will keep their jobs because they are going to need more people on staff at Sony who can actually make games as a service games, right? So there's a reason that employee retention fund exists. It's basically to say like, hey, this is the money we are going to pay out to you if you stay on board and help us build out our games as a service brands. Which again, that alone just makes me roll my eyes out of the back of my head to hear like, yeah, more games as a service. Like, okay.
Right, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is whenever a big studio buys another studio, we just get worse product.
But at the same time, like, it sounds like Bungie's next IP is also a games as a service game because of how much money is being poured into it. So, I mean, that just sounds like that's just what Bungie makes now.
That's what they want to do.
That's what they want to do. And that kind of makes sense. I mean, in a different era, if Bungie had made Halo, the original 3 Halos, I mean, in a different time when the internet was when like high-speed internet was more readily available, Halo could have just been a games as a service. It could have just been a persistently online game. They have been interested in online infrastructure games basically since their founding, right? Mm-hmm. They have been very interested in online games and making online games work and kind of pushing what they can do with that stuff. So in that sense, for Bungie, this is probably a good deal. I think Bungie is getting off, God forbid they got bought by Microsoft again. I think that would have been wretched for them. They tried extremely hard to get away from Microsoft back in the day. So at least they avoided that fate. But, it's still, I'm sure for Bungie, this is a good deal and they're all pretty on board. I just don't like what it kind of means for the entire industry as a whole, as we continue to see these two big companies. And I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo got in on it too. They probably will. I don't think they actually officially own Mercury Steam, for example.
No, Nintendo doesn't do third-party purchases like this.
You say that, but I mean, anything can happen.
I know.
Like the industry is changing in big ways because before we would say that, well, nobody spends $1 billion on a game studio, right?
Yeah.
But that happened. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo was like, well, we're just going to buy Mercury Steam because Mercury Steam is, again, that's a second-party developer for them.
But that is kind of along the same lines as like Insomniac and Sony, where it's like, oh, you didn't already?
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that you don't. But they bring in Mercury Steam for everything. Apparently, they brought in Mercury Steam for Pokemon Legends Arceus because like Mercury Steam is basically the only people. Was it Mercury Steam or was it the Xenoblade Chronicles guys? Is that the same team? No, that's Monolith.
No. Monolith does.
That's Monolith. I know they brought in Monolith for to do support work on Arceus and on Breath of the Wild. to help with open
that
world.
makes sense.
Yeah, I know.
Since I've played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and played Breath of the Wild, yeah, that tracks.
That track, yeah, they did support work. And honestly, that's another acquisition I could see happening is Nintendo buying Monolith so that they can just have that, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. The only acquisition anybody wants to see happen is Konami. Nobody cares about any other acquisition. Yeah. But everybody on planet Earth is like, can somebody please just fucking buy Konami so we can get like a good Silent Hill again?
Can we just get Castlevania back, please? Like, for real?
Like, I know that Bloodstained just is Castlevania. That's what, you know,
but can
Tim
we
Rogers,
also get a Bloodstained 2?
I would like a Bloodstained 2 and a Castlevania.
Yeah.
I would like both. That would be very nice. The world can only benefit from more Castlevania style games if we could just get them. Having
played Bloodstained and Metroid Dread, yes, I would like more Metroidvanias.
Yes, please. The world can only be made a better place by getting more of those. So, you know, please.
Next, Discord is gradually rolling out PlayStation Network integration starting today. So this is a few days ago.
Okay.
Did you get the alert?
I got the alert, and I don't know my own PlayStation password anymore. I just automatically log in. So I tried to log in, and it told me I got the wrong password. So I have to reset my PlayStation password before I can officially hook the two things up. But in the meantime, right now, it's not that big of a deal to me. When they finally let me just post screenshots directly to Discord, I will be the first in line because I'm tired of putting my screenshots only on Twitter.
Yeah, putting them on Twitter so that I can share them on Discord.
Yeah, that's really annoying. Let me just send them directly to Discord. Then you will have done something extremely useful, Sony. Yeah. Thank you.
Shovel Knight developer announces a brand new game, Mina the Hollower. So this is their Castlevania / Link's Awakening. And it got back one day. I did back it.
Okay, I thought so. I am a little about them doing it on Kickstarter again because they have enough money to fund it, and it to me
it was a very low cost. This was a pipe
check.
Gauge. Yeah.
That's okay. That's different then, because you know when I first heard about it, I was like, don't they have like a shit zillion dollars from how well Shovel Knight sold?
They were only asking for $311,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is just a hype gauge.
Okay, well that's slightly different.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for them. It looks cute.
Trailer looks great.
Trailer looks cute. Looks good.
I love Link's Awakening, so I was like super on board when I saw this art style. Yeah, very excited for that. Trailer looks like a lot of fun. You got your weapons, you got your jumping. It's top down. They're doing their stretch goals. They've announced 4 so far. They're adding one every 100,000. Sound test, cheat codes, new game plus, Mac and Linux port, and then we have 4 other options that are still hidden.
Okay.
So cool.
Good for them. Good for them. You know, I'm glad that they're making something different and something new. So I still need to actually play Shovel Knight.
Yeah, you should.
I know it's on the list. I own it. I think I got it as a gift from somebody, so I own it. So eventually, I will play it.
Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl Shredder revealed as new character.
Nice. Not the cool Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder.
No, it's Uncle Phil Shredder.
Oh,
but you know, it's still cool.
That's cool.
He fits with like the default style for the Turtles in April. But he looks cool. I'm still surprised this game like plays as good as it does.
Have they added voice acting yet?
They have not added voice acting yet.
Boo.
I know. I would really like them to. They also added a Double Dare stage.
What? Like the old game? Like the game show?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like you're on a pit over, like you're on a platform that's over a pit of slime. There's like giant hot dog bun with like giant slime ketchup and mustard dispensers. I think there's like audiences in the background.
That's amazing.
So very cool. Yeah, there's the I was looking at screenshots now, and there's like the two where like the host is like the booth with the host, and then like the two teams on either side. Very cool.
Very cool. Good.
If they could just get voice acting.
Do they have a Legends of the Hidden Temple?
I would be surprised if that's not next.
Yeah, right? Like, I was just thinking, like, how do they not have a Legends of the Hidden Temple stage,
God, though,
right?
that's such a good, like, field to go for stages.
Yeah, like it's like the ideal Smash stage, right?
You do Legends of the Hidden Temple, you do a Guts stage.
Yes!
You do the aggro Crag, that'd be so cool.
Oh my god, please. Just do all of it. Do a fucking Hey Dude stage.
Yeah! Hey dude, salute your shorts. God, yeah, do it all. That'd be so cool.
In front of Pete and Pete's house.
How do they not have Artie the strongest man in the world as a character in this game?
Oh my god, I know. They need to figure that out because that would be incredible.
They need to do whatever like licensing, like facial licensing they need to get him in this game. That'd be so amazing.
Please.
So yeah, that's cool. I wish they would eventually add voice acting, then I'll really be interested in, and I'll buy this game.
Yes, please.
Next, Grand Theft Auto community update. Guess what? They're making 6.
You know, yes, we know, Rockstar. We're aware that you're making 6. But announcing that you're like, yeah, we're making 6. Like, announcing that now means that we are not going to see 6 for another, what do you want to bet? 2 years? 3 years?
Okay, we're gonna see 6's logo at the Game Awards.
Okay. Or at Summer Games Fest.
Or like a cinematic, no gameplay thing about 6.
Right.
We're gonna see something about 6 by the Game Awards. That's my bet.
Okay. But we're not. But 6 itself is not coming out for 2.
No. 3 years. Yeah, they're gonna put one more re-release of 5 out before they do 6.
I think they are. Is the PS5 version of 5 actually out yet?
No.
I don't think it's actually.
GTA Online is not on 5. I think.
Okay.
I think 5 is on
the PS5.
5 for PS5 has already been announced.
Oh, announced, but it's not out yet.
Right.
So they are going to put out another version of 5. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh god. Oh well, that means we'll see Red Dead Redemption 3 in approximately 16 years.
Yep.
I'll see you all there in the VR zone, riding horses
on the PlayStation 7.
That I have to jack directly into my brain.
By then horses will be extinct. We'll have no idea what these majestic creatures are.
That's the only way we'll be able to interact with horses is
Yeah.
via the PS7. That'll be its big selling feature.
Mm-hmm. We brought horses. PS7, we got horses.
The PS7 got horses, baby.
There's our title.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to send that to you right now, actually, so we don't forget. The PS7 got horses. But yeah, what else?
Next, Google is reportedly trying to salvage Stadia under new name Google Stream. Hello.
Oh no!
Hello, my name is Mr. Snrub, and I come from someplace far away. I'm
definitely not just Google Stadia with like a new face stapled on top.
Can you make that the title card? Can you make it Mr. Snrub, but it's the Google Stadia?
Yes.
Perfect.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so they're just like, we're gonna try rebranding, which is amazing because I didn't think there's anything worth salvaging.
I thought
it was good.
The branding is not your problem, Google. It's not that you have bad branding, it's that your service was extremely bad and nobody wants to play streaming video games. Now or really ever.
Here's the quote. Here's the quote that is giving me an aneurysm.
Oh no.
Like I can feel the blood clot forming. The Stadia consumer platform, meanwhile, has been deprioritized within Google, Insider said. With a reduced interest in negotiating blockbuster third-party titles, now Google is trying to secure deals with companies such as Peloton, Capcom, and Bungie.
Okay, Peloton. Like the
bike company.
The overpriced bikes?
I guess.
Okay. I mean, I guess that makes, because like Peloton's whole shtick, right, is that you spend $2,000 on an exercise bike, which is insane to me. But it gets you like access to an app that motivates you to ride your exercise bike more, which I get, you know. Exercising, finding the motivation to exercise is quite hard. But like, so I guess I get why, like, you would want to gamify that, but it seems very strange. Be like, yeah, you know, notable video game companies, Bungie, Capcom, and Peloton.
I guess, okay, so I looked up Peloton Game Studio to see if like there's like some indie studio that happens to be called Peloton. And no, there's an article from July of last year about launching in-app video games.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. 'Cause I mean, like, you know, do you remember that app that was called Zombies Run?
Yeah, I mean, I get the appeal, like, you know, the idea of it was just like, here's a game that, yeah, like you said, it gamifies exercise. Right?
But it's still very strange.
But what is the Stadia gonna do with this? Because the whole idea of Peloton is you have it on the bike.
Yeah, but like the bikes have TV screens in them.
Yeah, but I mean, okay,
so like,
I mean,
and the bike has like, that's why the bike costs $2,000 is that it connects to the internet and has a TV screen in it, which is like, just put your bike in front of a smart TV, but don't worry about it.
So is Google just looking to put Stadia on Peloton?
Yes, I guess so.
Like, are they okay? So they're gonna call it Google Stream. So are they just looking to get rid of Stadia as an object you buy?
I think so.
And just look into streaming games?
Because you can already do that. You don't actually need to own a Stadia box to play Stadia games, as long as you can like run the Stadia. God, saying the word over and over again means it's starting to lose meaning. As long as you can like run the Stadia program on your computer, you don't actually need the box, from what I can understand.
So yeah, I guess that would make sense if they want to put Stadia titles on Peloton.
Yeah, exactly. But it sure is like, you know, I guess, but it's very funny to me that it's like, yeah, that we're looking to rebrand when it's like, no, that's not the problem. It was that the service was actually quite bad.
Putting it along the same juggernauts as Capcom and Bungie.
It's very funny to me. Yeah, the guys who made Halo, the guys who made Mega Man, and these people who want to sell you again, I would like to reiterate, a $2,000 exercise bike.
So this is definitely not, like, this article even mentions, like, it's unclear how Sony's purchase of Bungie will impact talks with Google.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's something Google now has to think about. It's like,
God damn it!
It's like we're
never gonna sell this fucking Stadia shit.
Bungie's like, I gotta go talk to my dad.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Excuse me, young man. Is the owner of the home available?
Bungie's like, no. Please leave us alone to just keep making more Destiny.
Bungie's like looking at Sony like, Dad, that weird guy is back asking for money.
And all of our personal information.
Next, here's an even more detailed look at Tango Gameworks Tokyo Ghostwire.
Oh.
Did you watch the extended gameplay trailer?
I did not.
It looks cool.
It looks cool.
It looks really cool. You know what it looks like, Sarah?
Mm.
It looks like if Far Cry had good graphics.
I'm just so... I will give it a chance. I do need to watch the actual gameplay trailer. Yeah. But, like, it just sucks.
The decrease in horror.
The decrease in horror, just like you don't understand, I am wilting for like a I know like the indie scene exists. I
Right,
get
but you
that,
want
obviously.
you want like a big a proper 3D horror game.
I want like a big spooky horror game. Yeah, and like I want like, it's by fucking Shinji Mikami, the guy who made Resident Evil 4.
Like I don't want to walk in a dark building very slowly anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I want to like interact with an environment.
Yeah, I would like to. I don't want to do Steam early access flashlights the game anymore.
Yeah. I don't want to hunt for batteries. I don't want to read journal entries. I want like a proper horror game with characters and stuff.
But we're never gonna get that. We live in hell.
And
I mean, like, the fact is that this game is rated T for teen.
Yeah. So character design still looks really, really cool. All of the monsters and stuff look like very interesting designs. Very, Japanese folklore. All that kind of cool headless schoolgirls and tall people that bend over backwards and crawl along the floor.
Sure, but like,
But it's not scary.
It's not scary. It's not rated M. It's like a horror movie being rated PG-13.
Like, God, you know what? I think the last proper horror game we played was Resident Evil 8, and we didn't like that one very much.
I didn't like that game. I did not think that game was scary either. So,
like, 7 was scary. 7 had good scare.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, the best part of RE8 was the scariest part.
Yeah.
The mansion. But, like...
It's a bummer, but I think what we're going to get is still going to be really good. This looks like a blend of the good parts of Far Cry and the good parts of BioShock 2.
Right.
So I'm still excited for it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely not what that initial trailer looked like it was going to be.
Yeah.
Which is fitting with the BioShock part of it.
Yeah. Oh, look, Ken Levine's legacy lives on via Shinji Mikami.
We did it, guys. We got here again.
We did it, Reddit.
But yeah, no, go watch that trailer. Like, I think you will still enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am kind of aching for a good, proper horror game again.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Voice of Cards: The Forsaken Maid announced for PS4, Switch, and PC.
That was fast.
Yeah, this is really fast.
That was really fast.
I guess these are quick to make because, like, the visuals are so, like, straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's all aesthetic. There's nothing, like, technologically difficult about it.
I heard the first one is good. I mean, I guess the first one sold well enough to justify this.
Yeah, I mean, it is a Yoko Taro product. I'm assuming the story is really, really good.
I would like to know. I guess I would like to play the first one to see just how good the story actually is.
From the article, quote, "This game is not a direct sequel to Voice of Cards to Al Dragon Roars. Both stories can be enjoyed as standalone game experiences." So that's interesting. This was probably the fastest turnaround from game release to sequel. Wait, so this article came out. This article was written February 4th. When did Isle of Dragons come out?
Isle
of Dragons came out in October. 4 months.
That was very fast. Yeah,
that's quick.
That was very fast. Okay. Oh god.
The world's best Guitar Hero player was a cheat.
What?
Let's see here. Let me take a look at this article. Quote, "For the last few years, a Guitar Hero player named Shmooey was widely believed to be the best in the world, having racked up achievements and displayed feats that other players thought impossible. A discovery made last year, however, shows that there was a very good reason for that."
Oh no.
So there was a video from Carl Yops that was suspicious, like that kind of like said, was whistleblowing, like, this is suspicious about his achievements. So, quote, sure, some of his videos had the odd questionable moment, a video lag here, some dark footage there.
Right.
For the most part, these queries were far from conclusive proof that he'd been cheating, so nothing came of them. And then... here we go. Quote, so a video from 2021 December for the song 9 Patterns of Eternal Pain.
Okay.
Quote, for starters, there were sections where Shmooey's hands weren't hitting the notes on the guitar that were being played on screen. Weird moment in the very end of the video where a Windows Media Player overlay appears.
Okay. Wow.
Accusing him leading to players to accuse him of making the video using pre-recorded video of a live stream. And then he confessed that a few of his videos were faked and maintained that some of them were real.
Wow, buddy.
But,
you get...
Quote, other players weren't convinced, and now they know what to look for. They went back through all of Shmooey's uploads and found out that nearly all of them, around 100 clips, had been faked.
Oh, but okay. man, you don't... There really is no winning there. I guess what you just do is just delete your shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All his videos are gone now.
All of his videos are gone now. Yeah. Because like the double down being like, only a few of my videos are fake, guys.
What was like, the Donkey Kong guy?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember the Donkey Kong guy's name, but I do know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Like he kept the trickery, like he kept claiming he did it for years afterwards, even though like, no, we went frame by frame. You faked it. We know you did.
Yeah, it's definitive, man. Yeah. Either totally double down and just say like, no, they're all real, or delete all of them as soon as somebody accuses you and just vanish off the internet. You know what I mean? He
was definitely hoping like if he confessed to a few, they wouldn't look into the others.
Right? Yeah, that's not going to happen, man. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So this is. He completely, like, everything. So, quote, exposed Shmooey posted an apology video on January 15th, after which he deleted all his uploads, locked his social accounts, and disappeared from the community. He also paid back all the bounties he had received over the years.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Like, you got caught, you shouldn't have done it in the first place, give back all the money you earned because you didn't make those records, and that's it. I do love, every so often, I do get a sick, guilty pleasure out of watching breakdowns of fake speedruns and stuff.
Yeah, you know? It is kind of fun to, like, look for the splices and stuff and see how blatant it is. You know, like, if it's super subtle, that's really fun to have revealed to you. And if it's really blatant, then you can laugh, like, how did nobody ever notice this, you know? I like that kind of thing. I know that Summoning Salt doesn't like to give cheaters. Yeah. Like he doesn't like to give cheaters any kind of credit. Like he never even mentions their names in his videos. But I would like a Summoning Salt video about speedrun cheaters.
That would be like, yeah, if he just doesn't mention any names, but like, because I know there are a few videos I've watched where it's like the person like doing the breakdown will not give the person's name because they don't want to encourage harassment and whatnot. But there was a really, really good one I watched where it was super obvious the guy was faking it. There's two in particular. There's one where someone did a blindfolded run of Mario 64, and it's so blatantly fake. Like even if you didn't know what to look for, you could tell that it was fake.
Yeah.
There's another one where the guy was doing a Mario Brothers 1 run that was clearly tool assisted and using spliced video because like the overlay didn't sync up properly.
Oh yeah.
But more importantly, he did things like drinking a Coke and eating pizza while doing the run.
Oh my god.
And it's like, you know, the commentator is like, yeah, he's obviously trying to like show how like cool he is by doing it really casually, but bro, your hands aren't on the controller. We can tell like you're not.
And like a speedrunner always has his hands on the controller because if you're going for world record in like, especially like Mario 64 and stuff like that, you are hunting for fractions of a second at that point. There is no being cool and taking your hands off the controller to take a sip of drink or eat a pizza or whatever, right? Like at that point, no, man, I'm sorry.
Like the blindfolded run is especially egregious because like what do you have to go with for blindfolded runs? Sound cues, right?
Right.
He had his Twitch alerts still on.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah,
like, bro.
If you watch any blindfolded run, like, they might have their chat active, but there's no other sound coming in.
Dead silence. Like, blindfolded runs at GDQs require the runner to wear the best noise canceling headphones they can find because they need that sound, you know? It's so stupid to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next, I have two more here. Platinum's new CEO wants to create larger, riskier games and hints at live service focus.
Boy, you still think that Babylon's Fall is going to go well for you, and I have bad news, guys. It's not.
This is sad.
It's just sad.
This is depressing.
I mean, I knew this, but however, I did know this was going to happen when they announced the new Tokyo studio, right? They announced they're opening a new studio in Tokyo, and they announced that they're developing their own in-house engine. Like, they have to pivot towards games as a service to keep the lights on.
Right?
Like, when you make... Anytime a company is saying we're going to spend a shit ton, unless you're, again, Sony Santa Monica and you have a shit ton of Sony bucks, you can have a beautiful, lavish studio in Santa Monica, California. And you don't have to worry about games as a service there because, you know, Cory Balrog is getting them $16 kajillion a year from Sony to keep the lights on. If you're like, yeah, we got a new fancy studio in Tokyo, one of the most expensive pieces of real estate in the world, and we're making our own goddamn engine. Your own engine?
Yeah.
Which costs like millions, if not billions of dollars to develop. Yeah, you have to pivot to games as a service just to afford the amount of money you just invested foolishly, I might add.
Okay, so, and quote from Atsushi Inaba, who is the CEO and president of Platinum currently. Quote, of course, we would like to cherish and create small but brilliantly conceived games such as Soul Cresta, and games which you can enjoy the process of clearing the game by going through one-off, well-designed stages such as Bayonetta. But you're spreading yourselves too thin. You are not big enough to handle multiple projects like this.
Unless they get like a shit ton of money from external investors, which I know they got Tencent now owns not a controlling stake in Platinum, but they did invest a lot of money into Platinum. Unless they're, I don't know, maybe they're angling to get bought by Sony too. I could see it happening, frankly, at this point. Because, I mean, literally the same time that Platinum says, hey, we want to do games as a service, what happened the day before? Sony saying we want to put out 4 games as a service games by 2026.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this is like an angle to get acquired by Sony for a couple of $1 billion.
Like, this would be the next purchase Sony makes, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because, you know, we've said before that buying Japanese game studios is kind of hard because the big ones all have like a lot of shit tied to them that isn't just like Sony, unless Sony just wanted to spend $69 billion the way that Microsoft just did, Sony is not going to buy Square Enix because Square Enix has a cafe in Akihabara. You know?
No, there's no fucking way.
There's no goddamn way. But you know who you can buy? Who doesn't have a cafe in Akihabara? Platinum.
That's like Sony trying to buy Square Enix would be like Sony being like, we're gonna buy Disney Animation Studio.
Yeah.
No,
sorry guys, that's not gonna happen. Square Enix is at this point, Square Enix at this point is its own massive beast. And I mean, yeah, you could, if you wanted to spend, again, $70 billion, you probably could buy Square Enix at that point. But they're not going to. They're not going to do that. They have such a massive market share that at this point they're not going to do that. I don't think Microsoft wouldn't even be able to get in the door to buy Square Enix, you know?
No, not at all. No.
They would get laughed out of the room. Mostly because that has happened before. I do think that Square Enix CEOs have actually laughed Microsoft people out of the room now that I think about that.
Yeah, this article just goes on about like how they're still working on their stuff. They're still working on Project GG, which we haven't seen in forever.
Yeah, you know.
I
do think they're angling to get bought.
This
probably because they did spend a lot of money and they're like, oh fuck, we're out.
Babylon's Fall is not going to succeed the way they want.
No.
At the best, it's going to make a profit, but it will not meet what they are expecting it to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It will not do that, and then it will severely tank their ability to make more games in the future.
Right.
And their only chance of succeeding basically is to get bought by Sony.
Yeah, that's it's just that sucks. Hey, you know.
And
I don't know who fucked Platinum. Oh.
Or maybe Nintendo can buy them. Because Nintendo did save Bayonetta.
Yeah, Nintendo did save Bayonetta. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're doing work with Square Enix with Babylon's Fall. I do wonder who fucked Babylon's Fall. Like, was that a decision by Square Enix, or was that a decision by Platinum to try and go games as a service? And Square Enix is notoriously, you know what? Evil to their development staff.
You know what that feels like? That feels like it was Platinum's idea, but Square Enix was an enabler.
Oh, yeah, probably.
That's what that is Platinum's like, what if we did games as a service? And Square Enix is like, ooh.
Ooh, you said the magic money word.
You said cash register noises?
It prints money. Last one. Intellivision CEO Tommy Tallarico departs role. He is still a majority owner, or he still has a huge stake in the company. I think he's still on the board or whatever, but he is not the CEO.
He is going to guide the ship from the lifeboat.
And salute it as it sinks beneath the waves and be like, thanks for all the money, suckers! Yeah. I'm not surprised one bit. That thing's never fucking coming out. It's just gonna quietly fade away, or it's gonna come out and be a huge disaster like the Ouya.
At least he's not he this is at minimum, this is so he's no longer the face of it.
Right, because he is such a fucking embarrassment. Yeah.
So he's like, I'm just gonna sneak away so that I don't have to do these videos anymore.
That's fair. I wouldn't want to do them either.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh god. That thing's never fucking coming out.
Oh no, not a chance.
Not even a goddamn bit. There's gonna be like 3 that come out maybe for press.
What must it feel like for the new guy Phil Adam to take over as CEO for a company?
Oh god, he knows it's gonna be on fire.
Like, I'm just picturing him walking into an empty boardroom, right? Mm-hmm. And like in an abandoned office. Like, I finally made it.
I imagine that this guy probably is getting some sort of exorbitant compensation to just kind of slowly guide the ship into the deepest part of the ocean, if we will continue with the sinking metaphor. And then he'll, when the company goes under, he'll get a nice fat bonus, and he'll fly away into the sunset with his billions and billions of dollars, like all of these fucking ghouls do. So, it's fine. But the important part is that the Amico is never fucking coming out.
Never once.
Ever. Not a single one. I could see them pivoting to we're not doing a console anymore. We're gonna partner with Google Stadia.
Oh,
I'm right.
You are right.
I could totally see that, actually. Them being like, actually, we're gonna put all of our games on the Stadia instead.
They're going on the cloud.
They're going on the cloud. It's so much easier.
But Sarah, where do you put your NFT coins then?
Oh.
And then
in a dumpster.
And then Intellivision goes, "That's not our problem."
Bye. Yeah. Oh god. Okay.
Oh god. So
everything's just so goddamn stupid is what I always take away from the news. So that'll do it for us.
There's always a cool announcement of a new game coming out, and then there's 5 articles of this
stupid bullshit.
Yeah. This CEO decided to flush all their money down the toilet.
And this random asshole decided to light his house on fire because he hates that there are gay people in video games. Shit like that.
A famous streamer got caught harvesting babies.
Oh my god.
But they're making a new Mega Man.
Oh my god.
What a dumb industry we've saddled our horses to.
Just a dog shit industry. I've made peace with it. That's why I only play Final Fantasy XIV now. A Realm Reborn. Now free up to level 60 and including award-winning expansion pack Heaven's Word.
There have been no controversies involving 14.
Shut up. Don't worry about it.
I'm not going to Google that to find out if I'm wrong.
Shut up. Don't worry about it. Yoshi P's like, don't worry. Do not ask about 1.0. We don't talk about 1.0. You ever see that clip of Yoshi P somebody asking about like 1.0 servers, the way that there's WoW Classic servers?
He's like,
and
no.
He literally looks at the guy and goes, nightmare.
Perfect.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that'll do it for us. Thank you to DJ Cutman for use of background music. You can follow me on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. You can follow Sara at radioinactivity. You can email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to listen to Sara talk about other games, you can listen to her other podcast.
Hey, I'm in another podcast called Big Gay Nerds, where me and a bunch of cool queer friends get together and we play tabletop games. We cycle through different systems. It's a lot of fun. Right now we're playing Beam Saber, a mech hack of Blades in the Dark, where instead of playing as thieves, we play as pilots of giant robots in a vast and complicated war. We actually just recorded our season finale for Beam Saber, and it popped the absolute fuck off. So if you want to listen to us now, this is probably the best time to do it, frankly, because you'll get a nice, concise storyline all kind of packed in with a lot of highs and lows, and I really enjoyed it. So you can find us at Big Gay Nerds, basically wherever you find your podcasts, and that's also what we are on social media. So yeah, thanks.
All right, that'll do it for us.
Fuck games as a service. I'm so tired of hearing about it, you know? It never ends. It just keeps
existing and ruining games that I would have been excited for.
Yeah, every single time.
There was that one cool looking game where you're a cowboy that gets sucked into a fantasy world.
Yeah.
And it looked awesome, and they're games as a service, and I fell asleep.
And I was just I'm dead. Yeah, every time it's that oh, that's what our title card should be is but this time, it's the Arrested Development thing.
Yeah.
But maybe we will. Maybe we can do it. You can't do it. I'm sorry.
Just try. Put Platinum's logo over that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's what I'm going to do.
Perfect.
God. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.